If you look at the history of Web3, we started with cryptocurrencies, then we had DeFi. Those were fully on-chain, and we were able to build up trillions of dollars of value in those systems because they were trustless, because people saw them as fully decentralized systems. Then we had NFTs. Now, these required media to be stored, and so you had images and videos that you needed to store in a decentralized way. IPFS, Filecoin, and similar technologies provided that decentralized file storage. Now what we're seeing is a new wave of Web3 applications. We call it Web3 SaaS. And these applications need a decentralized way to store structured data. So if you think about applications like a CRM, customer relationship management tools, accounting software, people are rebuilding this in a Web3 context. And right now the problem is they don't have a decentralized way to store their database. And when we asked people why, they said that there just wasn't a good solution available. And so that's where we're really coming in and providing something that's extremely easy to use so that the developers of these applications can build the tools of the future. My name is Sid Gandhi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Polybase. Polybase makes decentralized tools for Web3 developers. Specifically, right now, we're building a decentralized database that's a really easy drop-in replacement for traditional databases. One of the problems we see is in large organizational systems like a jury system. In traditional juries, there's a lot of process that happens that's really inefficient. You need people that are experts in certain places. You need a fair jury. And so people are building these systems in Web3 in a way that's really kind of decentralized and fair and allows people to be pulled in from various areas and topics of expertise. To build this kind of system and to have the kind of voting system that you need to back this court system, you need to be able to store and retrieve lots of data. And you need to do this in a really fast way. What we're building is a database that allows you to store things like evidence data, things like votes on which way people want to vote on a particular issue, and be able to have that in an immutable way that can't be changed later or that you can prove if someone tampers with it, and also in a decentralized way where people can come in and vote as necessary given their experience and their background. And so to kind of back this kind of software, you do need a solution that is fully decentralized, a solution that does scale to kind of the large amounts of data that you need to back it. Our goal is to let developers have a place where they can store their databases in a decentralized way, get all the benefits of Web3, but also get kind of the speed and cost performance of Web2 databases. We basically found that this part of the technology stack was missing. And so we were able to create a solution that combined both of those. When we started Polybase, we talked to tons of Web3 developers. We really dug down into what challenges they were facing, what problems they were encountering. And what we found was that they had a lot of tools to build decentralized applications, but for databases, they kept going back to centralized databases like Postgres, MongoDB, and Firebase. And so we saw this as a pretty big problem where even if you have 80% of your technology decentralized, it still doesn't go all the way and get you all the benefits. And so we heard this over and over and over again from dozens and dozens of developers. And that gave us the confidence to start building out a solution in this space. So one of our customers is building a DAO for funding. And so the idea is projects get submitted to the DAO. DAO members actually vote on whether to fund this project or not. But there's a lot of things that come in between those 2 points. And so you have to do due diligence, you have to go talk to the founders, you might have to do background checks. These are all processes that a traditional fund will do, except this DAO wants to do it at scale. And so they have over 1,000 members in the DAO. They have dozens of projects being submitted every week. How can you do that kind of validation at scale? And so they're building a platform where you can kind of imagine it's a series of steps that a project goes through. So first it gets submitted, then there's some due diligence, then there's some technical diligence. And each of these is actually a task that members of the DAO can come in and out and perform work for. This work then gets rewarded. And so there's an incentive to kind of move this project along in that pipeline all the way to the end when a certain set of people within the DAO then vote to fund this project. And then the funds are actually automatically transferred to that project. And so if we kind of want to do this at scale, you need software that helps this process along. And that software needs to be built in a way that's extremely scalable, fast, performant. Today, it's really hard to build this in a fully decentralized way. But with Polybase, you can actually store that data in our database and build the tools on top of that that allow you to have this really efficient way to do funding. In the past, I was a software engineer, so I kind of have that technical background. I've built APIs and frameworks for developers in the past, so I really understand the developer mindset. And then I'll talk a little bit about my co-founder. So he also has this kind of background in developer tooling and infrastructure. Most recent to this, I was a product manager at an autonomous vehicle company where we were building simulation infrastructure. So again, lots of data, lots of processing. And that's why I got interested in the Web3 infrastructure area because there's not a lot of solutions yet. There's still a lot of problems. It felt like a really good space to contribute and build something new. When I first get a problem that I need to solve, I generally kind of write out like an outline of how I want to try to solve it. So it's more of like a checklist or a process I want to go through. So the first one might include like finding out more questions I want to ask about the problem. The second one might be the people that I want to talk to. The third one might be how I want to structure like the solution. And so kind of having this outline gives me a path to follow. And so if I ever get stuck somewhere or need help, like I know what the next step is and I know what I need to do next. My biggest advice to founders actually is if you have a problem, don't immediately try to go solve it. Think about all the people in your life that could help you get to the solution. You'll get there much, much quicker. So whether that's fundraising, talking to people that have gone through the fundraising process before, sales, marketing, hiring, these are all problems where you can use the experience of others around you to do it much better. And honestly, people are always willing to help. And that's what like having a good network is about. Being close to people that have done this before is extremely useful. So I feel that way with Protocol Labs because I'm surrounded with people that have done this kind of stuff before, have expertise in the specific technologies that have been used here. And so I can easily kind of bounce ideas off and learn from them. In the future, I would love to have a very large impact on Web3 as a whole ecosystem. What I see today is we're still at the very beginnings of Web3. There's a lot of things that we need to build and solve before kind of the general population or even general developers can come in and build new and exciting applications. Building out this very beginning of Web3 technology is super fun and interesting for me because everything that comes after will be built on top of what I built here. That's my hope.